Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, then my name is Erica, and today I am going to talk a bit about the situation with Britney Spears and the conservatorship, and what I'm going to focus on more today is what it means in the context of disability rights, and why we shouldn't only care about Britney Spears' story, which of course we should care, but we should also care about all of the other people who are currently stuck in conservatorships who should not be. So if you don't know who Britney Spears is, she's a pop star from the 90s and the early 2000s, and today I highly doubt anybody watching this video won't know who she is, but I mean, in case there's somebody out there who's never heard of her, I feel like I just had to say that. And she, in 2007, she kind of had this public meltdown where she shaved her head, and she was in a very toxic relationship with this guy who kind of became her manager, and his name was Sam Lutfi, and he kind of took advantage of her, and so she ended up being forced into a mental facility, and she was also forced into a conservatorship. And if you don't know what a conservatorship is, it's basically when a disabled adult or someone with mental health issues or someone with dementia, when it is ruled by a court that they cannot take care of their affairs, and they cannot make their own life decisions. So then an adult who is labeled fit is put in charge of basically all of the major life decisions, and sometimes even smaller life decisions, which is really scary. But if you don't know about the Free Britney movement, it's like it came to light that she was in a conservatorship, because I feel like a few years ago, nobody really, either people didn't know or they didn't think it was a big deal or whatever, but when it came to light, and when it became known that Britney was fighting against her father Jamie, because he is her conservator, it became known that she did not want him in control of her. And recently there were some statements released by Britney Spears, and I'll link sources to all the information down below, so you know that I'm not just making up shit, because unfortunately people on the internet do that all the time. But so recently, I think it was last night, it might have been a few days ago, but my perception of time, because of everything going on in the world, is very warped. And also, since I'm not currently in school right now, I also have no sense of time. But anyway, you did not come here for that. But a few days ago, or yesterday, or whenever this happened, some statements were released that Britney Spears, when she told her story in court, and there's probably a legal term that I am currently forgetting, which is embarrassing, because I have lots of friends that are like going to law school, and I feel like they're going to make fun of me, but whatever. I am not going there. But so recently there were some statements made, and it's very upsetting when you hear these things, because like allegedly, and I'm saying allegedly because I am not about to get sued right now, but allegedly she was forced to have an IUD put in, and she isn't able to get it removed because it's not up to her, because she doesn't get to make decisions in her life. So if she wants to have more children, and I believe he has two children, but if she wants to have more children, she cannot, because she doesn't get a say in her life. And like that's fucked up, because like you shouldn't have something put into your body that you don't consent to. And then even if like that happens, then you should be able to get it removed, because you don't want it in there. And also, like, I personally believe Britney Spears is more than capable of making decisions for her life. Like, yeah, she may have some mental illness, but I don't think that's a reason for her to have no control over her life and her body and stuff. And so, like, that's kind of to show you how fucked up this is, and also just how, like, these conservatorships can really go into, like, every aspect of a person's life. Like how she was able to be forced to have an IUD put in when she didn't want it, which is basically a form, well, I'm not going to say forced sterilization, because that's usually permanent, but it's like a temporary version of that, and that's still pretty fucked up. But what I really want to get at is that, like, Britney Spears is only one person, and the only reason we know her story is because she's a celebrity, so people give a shit about her. And I'm not saying don't give a shit, because I truly believe this is important, and I believe she has been wronged, and that she deserves to have control over her life. But according to an article that I found online, and again, I will link it down below, there were roughly 1.5 million people living in the U.S. under a conservatorship, and this number is from 2013, but unfortunately I could not find any updated statistics. But if you can, feel free to comment them down below, and I will pin that comment if I see it. If I don't, then sorry. But so there are tons of people in these conservatorships, and who's in them? A lot of times it's elderly people, it's mentally ill people, it's intellectually disabled people, it's physically disabled people. So sometimes, a lot of times if someone can't speak, it's hard to know their IQ, so they're often deemed mentally unfit. And just tons of people are in these conservatorships, and they don't have a say in their life. And a lot of times, like, just because somebody has a disability, even if somebody is intellectually disabled, it doesn't mean that they shouldn't get a say in their life. And it doesn't mean that they should be controlled by another human being. We we have a tendency as a society to infantilize disabled people. And what I mean by infantilize is we look at disabled people as children, and this goes for all types of disabilities, but right now specifically intellectual disabilities, or even people that aren't intellectually disabled but are like people label them intellectually disabled even though they're not. But that's a story for another day, because we have this idea that intellectually disabled adults are like children in an adult body, which is not true. They're just an intellectually disabled adult, and that doesn't make them a child. Like, they may not understand everything, but they're still an adult, and they still deserve to be treated like an adult and have some autonomy over their body and their life. And I'm not saying that conservatorships have no place in the world, because I'm sure there are cases where that's the only way to help somebody. But also, I feel like we live in a world where a lot of people are just put in it. Like, I know people that have certain disabilities that, like, the second they turned 18, their parents, like, filed for that. And I don't think that should be. I think it should be a last resort. And also, if you watched the documentary on Hulu, Framing Britney Spears, you know that some of the people in it talked about how difficult it is once you're in a conservatorship to get out. So basically, once you're in it, you're kind of stuck in it, which to me, that shouldn't be a thing, because especially with like mental illness, somebody may have like episodes of mental illness where maybe they need some extra support, but then there are also times when they're doing relatively well with their mental health, and then they should have a say over their life. And like, you may disagree with me, I really hope you don't, but because on this, I'm very passionate about this, because I really believe people should have choices in their own lives. But I guess you can disagree with that, or maybe you see it from a different perspective. And I think that's it for this video. I also want to note that another celebrity from the early 2000s who is also in a conservatorship but who gets far less media coverage is Amanda Bynes. And if you would like me to do a video on that, comment down below. I would have to do a lot of research for that, especially since I feel like it's not as well known, so I would have to do a lot of digging, because like the Free Britney movement is a really hot topic right now, so it's a lot easier to find information, because like all of the mainstream media sites are releasing articles about it. But I can definitely do a video on that if you would like. And if you've made it this far in the video and you like it, please give it a thumbs up, because that helps with engagement. And also comment down below what your favorite Britney Spears song is, or if you're not a fan of Britney Spears, I guess comment down below your favorite artist from the early 2000s or your favorite Britney Spears song. My favorite Britney Spears songs are probably Lucky or Overprotected, which I feel like both of them kind of tie into this whole situation and talk about somebody who's very misunderstood and who doesn't have a lot of control over their life. But comment that down below because it does help with engagement, which like the algorithm, basically, if you don't know how YouTube works, and you may not care, but basically YouTube pushes out videos where more people are engaging with it, so like liking and commenting and all sorts of stuff like that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, again, please give it a big thumbs up, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.